Day after reports of a possible division within the cabinet on its response to the Augusta Westland chopper deal, the defence minister breaking his silence.
That's right, denying any signs of a rift in the government. A.K. Antony today also ruling out his resignation over the issue despite the earlier reports doing the rounds. So he's rejected these reports of a divide within the government over the deal being scrapped. Remember, he's saying he'll take a tough line. There will be no mercy shown in this case, he says, as it is being investigated with the CBI team reaching Italy as well. The defence minister says the government is waiting for that evidence from Italy to build a case that it cannot proceed on the basis of media reports. That's what we're hearing from other members of government as well. Now, A.K. Antony was not present today when Prime Minister Manmohan Singh met with British Prime Minister David Cameron, sparking off certain rumours, but government sources later telling CNN that absence shouldn't be read into and was not linked to this helicopter deal controversy, that A.K. Antony's presence was simply not required as no defence deals were being signed. You'll hear, of course, further on later in the show from both Prime Ministers on the Augusta Westland deal. Even as Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kamal Nath today finally offered a joint parliamentary committee probe into the deal. Remember, this is something the opposition had been asking for earlier, but now the main opposition party, the BJP, saying that's just not good enough.
There is no end of human greed. Still greedy people are working around the world. So I'm sad about that. But at the same time, I will do my duty. I am now getting ready for the parliament session. We will explain everything to parliament. We have nothing to hide. Nothing like that. Whole government is acting together. It is the decision of the government that you must get to the root of that controversy. If on any foul play is found out, he will take actions. If anybody violated legal rights, he will take actions. But unless there is some kind of evidence, now CBI is inquiring the whole thing. Italian court is inquiring. That court is beyond Indian government. Nobody can take in front of that court. Let them also complete the inquiry. Let them also give us the facts.
मैंने कहा कि कोई भी जांच जिसमें सबको तसल्ली हो जाए, हम खुद चाहते हैं. हमें किसी की राय और सलाह नहीं चाहिए. हम खुद चाहते हैं इसमें सही जांच होए. और हम इसलिए सबसे चर्चा करके कि कैसी जांच होनी चाहिए, जो इसमें कोई शक उसके बाद ना होए.
But we are not ruling out the possibility of sending for JPC.
I am not ruling out the possibility of anything. Certainly, I have made a statement on record that we are open for a JPC if this satisfies everybody.
In fact, many defence deals under A.K. Antony are under the scan. In 2006, an FIR was filed in kickbacks over the Barak missile deal and Navy war room leak case. In 2007, malpractices in supply of rations to troops in high altitude areas, something which CNN also reported on extensively. In 2009, Singapore Technologies, Israeli military industries blacklisted over alleged corruption. 2009 again, the Adarsh housing scandal also involving the Indian Army. In 2011, the Sukhna cantonment land scandal, first broken by CNN again. 2012, the Czech truck maker Tatra was blacklisted over bribery charges, and now this.
All right, A.K. Antony today trying to highlight his track record. Let's talk to Pallavi Ghosh, who joins us live this evening for more on this. Surya Gangadharan, our strategic affairs editor, also with us. Pallavi, the government clearly saying it's one with A.K. Antony. Now, they're all denying any signs of a rift. But is the opposition really going to buy this? Are they going to be targeting A.K. Antony when the budget session kicks off day after?
Unlikely, because the opposition has an ammunition against the government, and why give it up? I mean, the opposition's simple argument is that whenever a statement has been made by Mr. Antony earlier, he actually has given a different interpretation, and in a sense he misled the House. So that's going to be one accusation certainly against Mr. Antony. The other question which the opposition is going to be raising is that, well, if he did have to order a probe, why did this probe get ordered so late? Why not earlier, when these points were being made by BJP leaders, for example Prakash Javadekar also earlier? Why did the government, why did the defence minister not pay heed to these kind of questions which were being raised? So for the opposition, it's extremely clear there are going to be two issues on which they're going to be cornering the government on. One, of course, is regarding the Home Minister's Hindu terror remark, and second, of course, in the entire corruption issue, they are going to be picking up this latest chopper deal.
And a day after the government clearly spoke in different voices on its handling of this Augusta deal, is this just an attempt today to damage, to try to control the damage that they did yesterday? Is the cabinet actually divided on this matter, Pallavi?
Certainly seems like a damage control today, because over the last 2 days we have been seeing actually how the government seemed to be speaking in different voices. On one hand, Mr. Antony, of course, through that show cause notice which went in from the Defence Ministry, also seemed to be suggesting that it could be the first step towards cancellation of the deals. He has often been speaking of the fact that the money could be returned back to India. One would not hesitate to cancel the deal if the need arose. But on the other hand, and interestingly, at a time when the UK Prime Minister is visiting the country, we had our own Foreign Minister Salman Khurshid actually virtually ruling out the cancellation of the deal. In fact, we were told by the Prime Minister's office sources also that the Prime Minister was extremely upset at the possibility of the Defence Minister actually indicating the cancellation of the deals. The argument of the government extremely simple. One, it's not the right time to make these kind of statements when you have a visiting dignitary actually visiting the country. And second, of course, it would actually raise a question mark over the country or this government's capability to push through with reforms. I mean, the argument given is, for example, FDI in reforms. Again, a question mark over that. How long can this continue? And that's the reason why a deeply divided government suddenly seem to be doing a damage control.
Certainly, as we wait for the reports from that CBI probe as well. Surya, many questions being raised in terms of India's defence deals and where they stand. AK Antony today saying there will be no mercy shown, using quite strong language. What's his track record been so far? Because he really tried to highlight the cases he's cracked down on.
Well, frankly, Mr. Antony has been now 6 years in the saddle in the Defence Ministry, and there's been any number of scams and scandals. We've seen so many of them. We even had a graphic of that earlier. The point is that, and last year also we had the case of General V.K. Singh, the former army chief, pushing Antony to the wall over his date of birth issue. He was not able to control the situation, not able to ensure that General V.K. Singh answered to him, obeyed orders. He was not able to bring any transparency in the functioning of the ministry either. In fact, there's a lot against Mr. Antony, frankly, in the stewardship of the ministry. And all this is coming out, the fact that you have so many scandals and scams over the last 6 years.